Grandma's Kitchen.
There's a fiddle tune and a wooden spoon while she's stirring and singing. There's friends leaving or family land, and then the phone's usually ringing. No matter who you are or what you've done, everything's forgiven.
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. Grandma's Kitchen. And ain't it good to be in Grandma's Kitchen?
Grandma's Kitchen.
Hello everybody, Mary Janet here from Tunes and Wooden Spoons, and welcome to another Sunday of baking. And today we're going to be making ginger snaps with my beautiful sister Mamie, and she'll be joining us shortly. But I wanted to start off today and saying that I hope you had an absolutely wonderful week, as did I. And we had lots of things happening this week. There was just lots of excitement, but I won't get into that right now. But I wanted to shout out a little hi to Gail Mcmillan. Hi, Gail, and thank you. And that's another wonderful follower who keeps in touch. So I sure do appreciate all of that. And yesterday and yesterday evening, we had a lovely evening with our son Mitchell and his wife Laura, and her parents came over from Reserve Mines. And we had just a wonderful evening of food and songs and games. And a good friends of theirs, Arlene and Ronnie Kelly, came and enjoyed their company very, very much. And she follows Tunes and Wooden Spoons all the time. And we were celebrating Laura's father's retirement as well as his friend Ronnie. So it was a great night. And we're always in bed early. And you know what? We didn't get home till 2 o'clock this morning. We just had a wonderful evening. So it's good to get together with friends and able to meet together. And doesn't food always bring us together and make us happy? Hi, Anne Boudreau. And yes, Mamie will be joining us very shortly. So anyway, I wanted to just say one other thing. A little later on, after we have put the cookies in the oven, we're going to be joined in song, in Gaelic song, with Màiri Britton, and just a lovely and beautiful young lady from Scotland who is here teaching at St. FX University. And but stay tuned, because after we have a few songs and we've had our tea, I want to talk to you a little bit about certainly what we're doing next weekend, but also about our anniversary show coming up in a couple of weeks, and lots of fun going to happen there. Can you believe that you and I are celebrating an anniversary of 1 year of Tunes and Wooden Spoons? It's really a wonderful thing, and I'm very happy to still be around and haunting your kitchens and living rooms as you're watching this show every Sunday. And lots of great people joining in. Hello, hello, hello. From Fortune, and another one from Elmira, Ontario. Anyway, thank you all very, very much. So today I have a very special guest, and I'm going to get my sister over here. It was a little hard convincing her that she should come on here. So come on over here beside me. This is Mamie. Isn't she beautiful? And would you believe, and Mamie doesn't mind me saying this beautiful woman is 83.
Taplet.
Tablet. That means thank you. But she might have just meant it in a saucy way. I'm not sure. But anyway, I had a great visit with Mamie. She lives in Judic, and many of you know Judic. And she was married to a wonderful man, Jackie MacDougall. I remember when you and Jackie were dating, and you would be upstairs getting ready, and he would be coming to pick you up. Guess who was the entertainment? this young girl here, and I would sit in the living room with him and would play cards and pass the time until Mamie was all dolled up. Not that she needs very much dolling up. She's already beautiful. But this is the home that I was raised in. Mamie, in terms of relationship, we're not blood sisters, but I was raised in their home from the time I went there maybe when I was 1 and 1 1/2.
1.5.
Yeah.
1.5.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes.
Do you remember
was
when I
around
came
13
there?
or 14? Yes. I loved it.
And
It's a new baby in the house. Oh, wonderful.
I know, and I learned lots from Mamie. Mamie used to love to bake. She was a hairdresser by trade. So we all got the perms first and the haircuts and all those wonderful things. And as I got older, maybe 13 or 14, I would go up on weekends and babysit for her while she had her clients in the basement. So anyway, thanks for coming, Mamie.
You're most welcome. It's a joy.
And I'm sure we can say hello to some of your folks that are
Well, hi, Johnny, Judy, Jennifer, Gary, Vernon, and
did we
Judy.
miss anybody? Jennifer, Judy, Johnny, Gary, and Vernon. See, she has almost as many as I do. And
California, Calgary.
they're in California and Calgary,
And Toronto.
Toronto,
And Judy.
and Kentville.
And Kentville.
There now. And I know that they adore and love their mom. And anytime you go to Mamie's house, you have this great big glass jar. There's never a shortage of ginger snaps in Mamie's house, and you can have a cup of tea and these snappy ginger snap cookies, right?
That's right.
And her grandchildren come sometimes after school, and they're there, and they love your ginger snap cookies. So we're going to get right at this right now. We're going to start by going to the sink. We're going to wash our hands, and we're going to set your oven to 325, okay? But let's do that, Mamie.
Okay.
Here's some stuff for you. Yep. There we go. And our oven, we already set our oven to 325, so it's all ready. And we're going to use, Mamie uses just a metal cookie sheet with no parchment paper on it and no need for any greasing the pan. These will just slide right off your pan. So no parchment paper. Can you believe I'm not using parchment paper? So I am going to, I have my trusty blue bowl here, but I'm going to turn the camera down so you can see what it is that we're mixing up. And then we'll get Mamie to make sure to give me a nudge if I'm doing it the wrong way. I know you sent the list, but can I substitute butter if I don't have enough shortening? Yes, absolutely, you can substitute butter. Anybody can do that. Lard, butter, margarine, I'm sure you can use that. I think the shortening gives it a crisper. It makes it crispier, right, Mamie? Come on over here beside me.
I like Crisco. Yeah.
Crisco shortening, we love it. And it's so nice to see Mamie. Oh, May Peters, our florist.
Oh,
and
great.
Flora's daughter in Boston is watching.
Oh, hi.
Anyway, so we could watch you and your comments all day, but we have to turn the camera down and get busy to baking so that we can enjoy the singing too a little later. All right, hold on a second. Okay, Mamie, we're going to start with our molasses. Now, we're using Crosby's molasses, and do you see the words there? Fancy molasses. That might be backwards in your picture, but it's fancy molasses. And I think on a couple of shows I did tell you about the difference between the kinds of molasses. Fancy molasses is a sweeter molasses, and it's one that we use for baking. There's also on the shelves, I know in Alberta, it's called cooking molasses, much more bitter than fancy molasses, and a mistake to use when you're making cookies or porridge bread. You have to have the fancy molasses. And I think the final byproduct of the sugar when they're making molasses is blackstrap, but that's really bitter. But you want only fancy molasses. So
it doesn't have to be refrigerated.
no, I never keep mine in the fridge. I like keeping it right at room temperature in the cupboard.
That's right.
Okay, so I have here a 1 cup measure, and when I'm using molasses, so that I can get everything kind of fairly cleanly out of my measuring cup, I'm going to spray it a little bit with cooking spray, and it will help getting every little. They call us Scotchy. We don't want to waste anything, right, Mamie?
Of course.
All right, I'm going to put 3/4 cups of molasses. I like this cup. Do you see? This is a Pampered Chef cup, but you can see the measurement from the inside,
very
right?
well.
So this is another good reason why we don't keep it in the fridge. Cold molasses. You've heard that statement, I'm sure. Slow as cold molasses.
Slow as cold molasses.
And Mamie then takes this and fills it to the 1 cup with white sugar. So we're going to do that.
That's good.
That's about it, right? All right. So that's basically 3/4 cups of molasses and 1/4 cup of sugar. So I'm going to put it in here. And do you see how it's coming? It's coming fairly easy out of the cup when you use the little bit of spray. So you don't have a lot left over. There's some, but not too bad.
That's good.
Okay. And maybe I'll get you to stir that, Mamie, with the wooden spoon. And I'm going to get ready 1 cup of shortening. How's it looking there, Mamie?
Looks good.
There was a lot of people very excited about ginger snaps. I guess it's a favorite for a lot of people. Okay, Mamie, this is the shortening. That's 1 cup of shortening. Do you want to feel that to see if that's at soft enough in here? See if it's soft enough, or should I
It's
put it in
soft
the...
enough, I think, yes.
Okay, so she's going to put a 1 cup of shortening in there. And we always keep our shortening in the cupboard, not in the fridge. And that's just by choice. I mean, it's always on the shelf in the grocery store, and it's much easier to work with when we're making our biscuits or cinnamon rolls. All right. Here I am getting you to do all the work, and I was going to do most of the work. But that's all right. Sisters can change their minds.
This is a good wooden spoon, by the way.
Do you like that spoon?
The wooden spoon is easier because it's
strong.
Strong.
Nice and
Yes.
strong. Do you know what those, I got 2 wooden spoons from Pampered Chef from
Really.
a Boyd lady in
This
Antigonish.
is a dandy.
I'm trying to remember what it's made of, the wood that's in it. I should know, but I bet you if Tammy's out there in Alberta, she'll be on that and tell me what kind of wood. It might be teak wood, you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's easy to hold and easy to work with.
yeah, I like it too. So while Mamie is getting, you want to mix that up really well until you can't see any of the white of the shortening. So while she's doing that, I'm going to get the flour ready, and it's 2.5 cups of flour. One, 2, and a half. And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of ginger, kind of a heaping teaspoon of ginger.
A heaping teaspoon, yes. Oh, yeah.
Of just ground ginger. This is just like that. I don't know how the real ginger would work. It would probably be a little stringy in there, but
How much you put there?
a heaping teaspoon.
Yes, that's good.
Is that good?
Doesn't matter if there's a little more.
Yeah. And baking soda. I forgot to take it out. A half a teaspoon of baking soda. And a teaspoon of salt. Mamie, I know you do the same as me. You're just going to eyeball it in your palm of your hand. Put it in there. So I'm just going to whisk the dry ingredients together. Okay.
That's all the ingredients.
And that's it. That's it for ingredients. Seven ingredients is all that's in it. Isn't that great? And so many of the cooks back in the day, it was very, it was just plain things that they made.
That's true.
You know?
That's right.
And so, Mamie, where did you get this recipe? I know you've been making these since I was a little girl.
I've been making them 55 years plus. I think 55 plus years. I got it from an old lady that I used to go help do her ironing for her when I was working in a store.
That was in Mabu?
That was in Marble. And after you were finished packing, everything came in bulk, and you just, I had to pack it in paper bags, 2 pound, 4 pound, 5 pound, whatever. And it's the same with everything, rolled oats, beans, white beans, and it was just a lot of things, rolled oats, whatever. When you were finished, then my boss would say, maybe you go up and do a little ironing with my mother. And she always had those ginger snaps. So I said, well, I'm going to get that recipe, and that's how it started.
That's how it started. So I have all the flour here. I'm going to add the flour, a heaping half a cup at a time, and Mamie's going to be mixing. She really, when I went up to visit her on Wednesday, we made the ginger snaps. I watched her make the ginger snaps because she doesn't even need to look at the recipe anymore. She knows it off by heart. And so that's how she does it. She adds the flour mixture with all of the spice and the salt and the baking powder, baking soda, all a little bit at a time. Alice McCackern is watching. All right, a little bit more. Another half a cup or so.
That's good for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So Mamie is.
we don't all have a big wooden spoon like this, but you need a strong spoon until you get near the end, and at the end, close to the end, I usually roll it out.
Okay.
On the
Just put it out on the surface.
yes, roll it out there and finish, getting it to the consistency.
How pliable it should
Yes,
be. Okay.
yes, that's right.
Alrighty, are you ready for more? I'm getting her to do all the work. That was kind of sneaky. I was going to do all the work.
You told me that. Oh, well, that's Mary Janet.
Karen O'Brien is saying hello from Norwood, Ontario.
Hi, Karen.
All right. So we'll put all of this in, I think, Mamie, because we can always add a little bit more flour from the flour bin here if we need more when you get it out on the work surface, right?
That's true.
Hi from Ottawa. Could you use coconut flour instead? I don't know. You know what? I know what I know, but I don't know the equivalency with coconut flour. Sometimes those other flours are 1-to-1, but I'd Google it just to be sure.
That's right.
You know, and you'll find out. Okay, we should put all the rest of it in. And that's the last of that flour. And she'll mix that. Hi, Gordy. He's saying hello, Mama and Aunt Mamie.
Hi there, how are you? Come, drop in for a cookie. Wish you could.
I wish he could. He's in Fort McMurray.
Oh my goodness.
Mamie, do you ever switch arms when you're mixing?
Well, no, this arm.
It's getting
I
pretty.
could, but I've never tried that. But I'm getting there, and yeah, it's almost ready to roll.
Okay, we're going to turn the camera back down now. Hi, Mamie and MJ from Barb Archer. She's Barb McKay from the Shore Road.
I
And she
remember
lives
Barb,
in
yes.
and she lives in Halifax or Dartmouth now.
Okay,
So, Mamie, let's show them the bowl.
that's what it looks like.
So that's what it looks like. So, do you think we're going to need more flour when you bring it out
A
on
little
here?
bit, yes, I think we are, and I need a spoon to clean off this large spoon here.
Okay, I'll get that. Here you go.
There we go.
Okay.
I want to leave. I want to wait a bit. Okay.
Alrighty.
Now put
So-
in the flour there.
I'll take another half a cup of flour out of the flour bin, and you can. I just have a half a cup here, and just to use for rolling it out. All right,
Yeah,
Mamie.
it's a little too soft, so.
So that's probably about 1/8 of a cup. Yeah.
That's about it. It comes out pretty nice and clean.
Perfect. Mamie's not going to leave one dollop in that bowl.
No?
Let me feel that. I want to feel it. Oh yeah, it's still quite moist.
It's quite moist. But they do spread out when they go in the oven, so
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry, you know, if... What else is there to tell about the Mary Jane?
Well, I know that, Mamie, you were telling me that, say if you just wanted to make a one pan of these, which we are going to do today. We're going to make one pan, cook it, but the rest of the dough, we're going
A friend told me lately that...
that you can just put it in a plastic bag and put it in the freezer and just take the dough out when you want it. Now, I'm going to tell you something else because I was a recipe that I had for them. Do you need more?
I think we could...
Put a little bit more?
Well, what I sometimes do, I try... I'm so, used to measuring without a measuring cup. I'll try a couple in the oven first.
First, yeah.
And if they spread out quite well or too fast, I just use
Add a little bit more flour. Well, we'll just have to,
So you have to
guess
just
with
work
that
with
today.
it.
Yeah.
It depends on the molasses.
Yeah. But some people actually chill the dough for a couple of hours in the fridge,
Well, that's an idea.
and then they cook say a sheet of cookies, and then maybe some other people actually put it in a plastic lined loaf pan, like say a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan, and put that in the fridge. And when it's chilled enough, they take it out, and it comes right out in the form of off the pan, and you can just slice it, and you get those long rectangular ginger snaps that you buy in the store, for example. Okay, Mamie, let me see.
What do you think?
That looks great to me. So we probably used maybe an 1/8 additional cup of extra flour there to do a little kneading. Now, the way Mamie makes it, we're not chilling the dough. We're going to put it right on the pan and make them into little balls. So I have my regular metal cookie sheet here, and
You can make them any size.
make them any size, round or rectangle or whatever.
And you pat them down with it's at the heel of your hand.
And yeah, let me try that. So Mamie made a circle one, and I'll start down here. So I'll make mine kind of rectangle, like that. And I will, with the heel of my hand, I'll flatten it. You're going to flatten it out till it's, what, maybe 1/8 of an inch?
Yes.
Something like that.
You're gonna spread anyway. Sometimes I make a small one if you have grandchildren and they come and they want a cookie.
Just have a little one. You
Have
know?
a little one. And,
Yeah, this is a really nice
and then
recipe.
you're going to come back for another, and you say, well,
Okay.
you can have another one. They won't mind at home if you have another one. So.
But they can come to Grandma's and enjoy this with a nice cold glass of milk. And they're great dunkers because they really snap really, really nicely.
Yes. But tell them that don't store it, about storage.
Oh, yes, the storage. Mamie says do not store in a plastic container because they'll lose their snap. They'll get right soft. But Mamie has them in a glass jar in her house. Oh, I'll show them my cookie jar. You
Okay.
keep on going there, and this is my cookie jar.
Oh, that's excellent.
And it's big enough to put your hand in and steal lots of cookies from the cookie jar. And basically, I got this cookie jar, it's coming apart here, from the bulk barn. They sell them at the bulk barn. I don't remember how much they were, but it's perfect size.
I think they have. I think you can put them in a tin container.
And a
too.
tin, yeah.
You know,
Excellent.
just as long as it's
Look at that. How fast is that? I hope you guys are doing okay. Okay, I'm going to turn you up. So I'm going to get Mamie to go and wash her hands. Whoops, sorry, people. I know, isn't that a great cookie jar, Holly? Really, really great size. And anyway, so we're going to put these in the oven at 325, 8 to 10 minutes. But we're going to be watching at the 8-minute mark. As I always say, various ovens have different ways. There was no egg. If I put an egg in the requirements, I made a mistake. If you're seeing an egg there, no egg in this recipe. I was probably guessing at that point, and I probably wasn't home, and I just put an egg on there, but there's no egg. Sorry about that, but we don't need an egg. So I'm going to put it in there for 8 to 10 minutes, and I'll set the timer for 8 minutes, and we'll see how you're looking for something that got a bit of dark brown around the edges, okay? For your puppy cookies, you're kidding. She keeps the same jar for her puppy cookies. That's cool. Okay. So Mamie, you go ahead and you're off the hook now. You can go over there in the living room and sit down. I'll take your apron. You don't need to have your apron anymore. I put you to work and you're all done. And Mamie is when Mamie and there was AJ, Jeanette, Mamie, Alexander, Dalalic, and Minnie, and there were 6 of them when Mama took me, and the youngest was about 10 years older than me when I went to live at the Beaton household. What was I going to say, Mamie? I had something very important to share with you, and it's gone. Does that happen to anybody else? But anyway, it was a great house to live in, and there was always a gathering of the neighbors when the work was done on a weekend, or Uncle Finley would come over from Boysdale, and there'd be lots of Gaelic songs sung around the living room. And I know I told you this before, how I remember Mama would have, like, you'd have it was called a treat, where the treat was like a little shot glass of rum, probably, or maybe it would be a hot toddy, which was hot water and rum and a little bit of sugar. Great for what ails you, they say. And then that was the treat. And then there was always tea then, and you had to have, like, you'd have to have the biscuits and the cookies and maybe a piece of pie, and everybody looked forward to that, and the ladies would get out of their homes for an evening. We didn't so much call it a ceilidh, although that's probably what it really was. It's a visit. It was a visit with friends, and they shared music and songs, both Gaelic and English. But this is what I was going to say. When I moved there, the other 6 children had already were already in school. And of course, when they went to school and started school, it was encouraged to not speak their native language, which was Gaelic. And that was maybe it was their first language when they were little. And Mama and Papa, that was their Gaelic. And their grandma lived with them. So that was Mama's mother, right? Mama's mother lived with them, and she only spoke Gaelic. I think I read in a story in the book that we have there when we had our family reunion back in 2000, and I don't know if it was Lawrence or somebody mentioned that Grandma, the only English words she had were yes and no. Yeah, and so they had the benefit of having her around them and learning from Grandma all that was the language of the garden, they say. And so then when they went to school, they weren't allowed anymore, and it just they felt you kind of felt like you were different if you spoke any Gaelic at school, right? I remember that. Somebody talking about that. One of you guys said that. So when I came along, they were just speaking English to me. And when Mama and Papa didn't want me to know what was going on, they would speak Gaelic. And I'd catch a few words here and there. But I'm really sorry that I didn't learn the language. But today we're going to hear some beautiful Gaelic songs with Màiri here. And I'll introduce you in a moment. I'm going to put these cookies in. Oh, what are you saying? Oh, darn it. Somebody from Port Hood said that they used to listen to their grandmother speaking Gaelic here when she was a child. That's beautiful. And so here we go. I'm going to put these little doozies in the oven. I'm going to put the kettle on. Hello, Joan Bailey Blizzard. Sunny in St. John. And Lori Pedersen, Nipawa, Manitoba, I think. And it's never too late, Holly McIntosh says, to learn Gaelic. I know. Mamie is actually, as a speaker of Gaelic, although she had left it behind a lot, it's all coming back to her. And she's in Gaelic classes in Judic tonight, actually. Okay, I better stop looking, and I'll be right back. Okay, I set my timer for 8 minutes, and I'm just going to, this dough will probably go in a bag here, and I'll put it in the fridge, and I'll cook more a little later. And Krista, hi Krista, hi Charlie, they're saying hello from Dartmouth. Can't wait to see them. They're coming down for March break, some of March break. And ginger snaps keep their snap if you store them in the freezer, someone offered. So that's good. And yes, you can use parchment. Of course you can if you want to. I'm just doing it Mamie's way today.
Tell them they keep in the jar for at least 4 weeks.
Yes, they do keep in that jar as snappy as they can be in the cookie jar for a month, Mamie said. She's living proof of that. Okay, I'm going to turn you around to the living room. It's so nice to have you in my home for a little visit. So here we go. Now, I'll get this.
Hello, Apollonia.
Now, there, I can see Mamie. There we go. How's that?
Can they see you as well, though?
I'll poke in a little over there. But for now, I want to introduce you to the lovely Màiri Britton. And Màiri is from, is it Edinburgh? Mm-hmm. Edinburgh, Scotland. And I think, did you fall in love with Cape Breton?
Oh, absolutely. The love of my life.
and Màiri, like I said before, she's teaching in the Celtic Studies Department of St. Yvec's University in Antigonish. And isn't it great to have a Celtic Studies, department that is there?
Oh, yeah.
So are you teaching the language?
Yeah.
The
yeah.
language.
I teach the absolute beginners and the next level up. So these are 100 to 100 level courses.
And did you grow up speaking the language in Scotland?
Well, yes and no. So not in my family at home. My parents don't speak it. But I was going to the Fèis Clonachin from the age of 5, and so learning it alongside the songs and Clarsach and dancing and things like that. So I feel like I grew up with it in terms of my connection to what I considered to be Scottish culture.
Yes.
But not in the home.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just for clarification there, she mentioned a couple of words there that some of you may not be familiar with. She mentioned fèis or Fèishin, which is in English, it's festival, right? And there's lots of festivals in Scotland called Fèis or Fèishin where, people can go and learn Gaelic and learn the different disciplines like piping and fiddle and dance and all of those things. Yeah. And the other thing you mentioned, I've already forgotten. It's so quick it left my mind. But I'm not sure.
Like the connection to Scottish culture?
No, it was another word. The Clarsach. That's what she said.
Yes.
Clarsach is a harp. It's a harp, and she just play harp. Oh, wouldn't that have been nice to have today? I never even thought of that. But she is a beautiful singer. And do you still have your band on the go that you were with?
Yes, so I'm in a band called Farson, but the other 3, which would be Katie McNally and Neil Perlman and Elias Alexander, they're all in the States. So I haven't seen them in over a year.
Yes.
But we put out a little lockdown video, and we're working on a few more. So
Are you? Okay.
It's hard, but
can you
still
spell
going.
the name of the band?
Yeah, it's just Farsan, Farsan. So Adollar Farsan means going roaming or traveling or wandering.
Okay.
So, we all do a fair amount of touring, and of course I've moved from Scotland to here as well, so it seemed to suit us.
Exactly. Now, is your music available online, Farsan's music?
It is, yeah. We made an album a couple of years ago now, I guess, and that's just Farsan, self-titled, and that's on, you can buy it on Bandcamp, but you can have a trial listen on Spotify as well, and we're on Facebook and Instagram and things as well.
Yeah, so have a look for that if you're interested in that kind of music. Hello from Simcoe, Ontario. So anyway, I think that's for now. I'm just going to go and put the kettle on because we'll be having tea soon, and let Màiri take it away, and we'll enjoy listening to a song. Which one are you going to sing first?
Well, I thought I might start with the Áir an Luag, which those of you who are listening and baking along right now could join in with, and Mamie is hopefully going to help me on the chorus a wee bit as well. So this is a song that would be known in Scotland and in Cape Breton. I got the recording from Struan and Gael, so it would have been recorded by John Shaw, but it's actually the singer in the recording is also John Shaw, and it's called Good Amisha Hafa Aishlan. And you can hear it on Joanne McIntyre's lovely album as well. So the chorus is nice and simple. It goes like this. Hora uhaku hiriu devoela hora uhaku. So it's hora uhaku hiriu revoela, and then back to hora uhaku. So we can try maybe line by line quickly. Hora uhaku, hora uhaku, hiriu revoela, hiriu revoela, hora uhaku. Lovely, glaiva. Okay, so we'll try it Bunhushach from the beginning. The chorus all the way through. Hora uhaku, hiriu revoela, hora uhaku, hora uhaku, hiriu revoela.
Fantastic singer. Hello from Ottawa. I wonder if anybody's singing out there. Beautiful singing.
Okay, well, let's try it from the top then. I'll sing the verses in between and you can all join in.
And I'm going to run over into the kitchen to put the kettle on, but I'll be singing from the kitchen.
And the tradition, so these are milling songs that in Scotland the women, but in Cape Breton the women and men would have sung for fulling the tweed cloth. But more recently, since we don't walk the cloth anymore, people just hold hands and they kind of wind back and forth.
This is like this.
So you can do that as well.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, hold our hands.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for singing along, folks.
So thank you. You're hearing lots of Gaelic words there. So Thapalit is thank you. Katie Maloney Buchanan saying, lovely ladies.
This is so great. I just adore these two women here, and I really think that, my first time really coming to Cape Breton and experiencing the Gaelic culture and that strong connection between Scotland and here was in 2014, and you were so welcoming, Mary Janet.
Oh.
Really, that was like such a big part of my feeling welcomed and at home here, and falling in love with the place. And I would say it was never the intention to stay for nearly 5 years. I think my poor parents are watching in Scotland, and I sort of feel guilty that I'm still here in a way, but I know that they know how much I love it, so they're happy. So yes. Hi, Mom and Dad, if you're watching.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Have they been over?
Yeah. So we have some pets and things at home, so they came one by one. But my dad's made one trip, and my mom as well. So still trying to get my sister out here. But, yeah, it's wonderful to come to somewhere where the culture feels so connected.
Yeah, oh, it's just, yes, indeed. Mamie, do you think they're done?
I think they're just perfect now.
That was, I checked them at 8 minutes, and I put them back in for the final 2 minutes. So 10 minutes in my oven. And I'm going to leave them on the cooling rack until they come to kind of room temperature. And then we're going to have tea. I hope yours look like this too.
And you can just use a
nice cookie
to lift them right off the plate.
Just so easy. But I'll leave them on there for now while they cool. And maybe we'll have another song.
Yeah.
The kettle is on, and we'll have tea.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, we can do another one. Maybe I'll do This is an emigration song from Uist, All Mahui, which is it's very popular, but I really love it, and I know there are folks watching from all over Canada. But so in this one, the fella goes to Manitoba, but doesn't like it very much. Finds it very cold, and that the summers are so short, and the winters are so long. And in the end, I think he actually made it back to Uist. So you know that connection with the land is so important.
It's so important,
Gaels, isn't it?
and oh, completely. But I'm going to interject here for anyone out there who doesn't know where Uist is. Uist is on the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, and it's made up of North Uist, Benbecula, and South Uist, right? And I've been there many times, and it's absolutely wonderful to go there. And I remember the first time that I went there, you'd walk into the senior citizens housing over there. It's a very small island, South Uist, and everybody is speaking Gaelic as their first language. When I went in there, all the old folks, and then we went into, I think it was the co-op, and as well in there, it was so nice to hear the conversation going on, and it was in Gaelic, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm going back in time. It's just really, it felt so nice and so right. Yeah. So anyway, quite a lot of people from Uist came this way.
Oh, absolutely.
Back, was it the 1700s or 1800s when they came here?
It would have been
1700s.
I think so.
So the sort of the most emigration happened between about 1780, 1790 and 1850. That would have been the height of the Highland clearances, essentially. So a lot of people being forced from their homes in Scotland, some of them coming voluntarily, but often sort of as a result of feeling that they had no land security.
Exactly.
And you know, land was being offered here, so they took that.
Yes, my father's people came in, I'm going to say 1835, around then.
Yeah.
And they came from the Highlands of Scotland.
From the mainland?
From the mainland, yes, from the mainland in the Loch Harbour area. And it's quite the story. Yeah. It's quite the story. Anyway, I'll let you hit another wonderful song there that you were just describing.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll try this one. And again, you might know the chorus crops up a few times. So he talks about Chi the Vudain is Chi the Njarne, the land of marram grass and the land of Erna, which would be barley. So those are the two Uists. Oh, my voice, the with mother, oh, yes, the holy orn and colin, fare feich, Janet MacDonald, farem betol, the vach, galein, chi the vodain, chi the yarne. Cheers and palja hula sharshe, farem bin negila naga, scalded and scalded lelne. He got hooking kadach shelter, gusar nyaleg father nyalish, Molly at Rhein Manitoba. Schalik mi las afiga ishe, nor rocket son here, so the courage for shield, gaudig father nadrochije. Snambig akamin gestores, da je dich paie fragen, agus nadach wie nem fachge, sane weische jenen schale. O moist du weit mare, o jest hori ornen gallen, fare feichte na the end he says, "If only I had in my pocket or in my possession 2 suits of clothes and a pair of shoes and my fare in my pocket, I would go back to Uist as soon as possible." And so I think that the song was made by a man, he's referenced as Alan McAfee in Margaret Fay Shaw's book on songs and folklore from Uists, but I think he might have actually been Alan MacDougall, so the same person but two different Slán-Uachs. So anyway, but it's a beautiful song, I think.
It is a beautiful song and a beautiful singer.
No offence to anyone from Manitoba. I just think that anyone from Scotland would find it awfully cold. And I think that was his experience. It was just so different to
Just
the
a big
Hebrides, what he was
change.
used to.
Oh, yeah.
But not many people that came here ended up going back. You know, most people, they left and that was the last time they saw their homeland, which must have been so devastating for them.
Yeah, I remember, and I might have the story wrong, but I remember it might have been Lena McClellan on South Uist who was telling me this story, and it was about how there was a ship out in the bay, and the people that were leaving went on it, but there was a young boy who I don't know if he was crippled or something, and he couldn't go, and he was like standing on the shore and waving goodbye, and it was how sad. Just give your heart, just And then I remember Hamish Moore telling me about Alec Curry, who was a piper here in Cape Breton, and how he, I think Hamish took him back over to South Uist. It might have been for the festival there, the Feish. And I think he took him to the graveyard, and he was looking at the gravestones of his ancestors. And it was really moving for him to experience that, and just that longing that they felt for their homeland even generations later, you know, and the sacrifice that these people made to come here and make a better life for their descendants who would be coming, you know. It's beautiful, and that's what's so important, is that they kept the traditions of their homeland and took it here, and there was no external influence to stop them from keeping that alive here, right? And there was and it stayed pretty pure, right?
Of course.
It did. It stayed pure. Anyway, Màiri, do you like milk in your tea?
Sure.
Or black tea?
Gaimi Bekan Banya.
Bekan Banya, okay? Bekan
Banya.
Banya is a little milk. I know that much.
Bekan Banya Gamishkujo.
Okay, that sounds good. That's about as good as it gets from me. And you guys can sing another song, and I'll prepare the tea. Everyone, just 1 second. I'm going to bring you one cookie to see. I have taken them off the pan. I just want you to see how thin they are. So there's one, and you can see how thin that is, and a nice little snap. It is so smelly and good. So I'm going to prepare their tea for them, and they're going to keep entertaining you here.
Sweet. Okay. I always think about Portabiel in connection with you, Màiri Janet, because obviously you're such a wonderful step dancer, but also was it Mama who or her mother that used to jig the tunes to the knitting machine?
Yes, to the knitting machine. Yes.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about that, and then I can sing a few Portabiel?
I'll actually show you a picture.
Oh yes, great.
Yes. She used to knit a long piece of,
There's a picture of Mama and the knitting machine.
Oh yes, perfect.
Oh God, I love that.
I love that picture.
Show it to them.
I'll have to show it to you. This is Mama. You can see that. And this machine here was a knitting machine that would knit up the sock to a point of turning it, right? And it had all these little stainless steel needles in it. And as she would turn the handle, she would sing the tunes, which we called jigging the tunes, like not Gaelic words. She would just use she would roll the tongue and the R's, and it was just so rhythmic. And she was oblivious to anything going on around her. I'm looking at the dust, but that's the picture. It's beautiful. So you can explain the difference between jigging and the Porsche, I guess, which you're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I suppose there's three things. There's Camtadach, which is a specific sort of vocabulary of vocables that would be used for pipe music, for singing, learning and singing pipe tunes. And then there's the jigging, which would be a little less specific, just sort of, whatever sounds were coming. And then there's the Push the Bial, and Push is the Gaelic for tunes, and Bial is mouth, so tunes of the mouth. And they do have words, and we're not really sure in a lot of cases whether the tune or the words came first, but either way, it was a great way of learning a tune and remembering it. The words in Gaelic, like they really lock in the rhythm, and I've heard stories, like I heard a story about a dance somewhere in Cape Breton. I can't remember exactly where now, but the fiddler was late for some reason, and someone sung an entire set of Pursed for a square set, which, I mean, I'm going to attempt to get through a few on my own, but it's hard work. I hope they had help, because it's hard work to do it by yourself.
That is amazing.
So you would have strathspeys and jigs and reels, just as you would
over on the table.
in the type of tunes. You have songs to all of them as well. So a strathspey would be something like, do you know Callum Krupach?
I heard
Yeah, Gaelic.
I don't know it, but I know it.
Well, here's like the most common strathspey from Cape Breton, which Mary Janet will know for sure. It goes Callum Krupach and Saglan, come home the curry, 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 come on the tar and all, come on the curry, come on the tar and all, come on the curry, come on the tar and all, come on the curry, come on the tar and all, come on the curry. Abanyek na curry cola, abanyek na curry cola, abanyek na curry cola, skavanek a church, abanyek na curry cola, abanyek na curry cola, abanyek na curry cola, skavanek a church. Oh, what a chamari going, oh, what a chamari going, oh, what a chamari going, Sakosh Lawin Rashanin, oh, what a chamari going, oh, what a chamari going. Chamari Gavin, Sakosh Lawin Rashanin, Famina Mavai, Chencha Sai, Jet Patachalum, Famina Mavai, Chencha Sai, Jet Bjarnum, Famina Mavai, Chencha Sai, Jet Patachalum, Famina Mavai, Chencha Sai, Jet Bjarnum, Verkal to Ferash to Verkal to Patachalum, Call to Ferash to Vertana to Bjarnum, Verkal to Ferash to Verkal to Patachalum, Famina Mavai, Chencha Sai, Jet Bjarnum.
Woohoo!
Ora magolicha na raimi, ora magolicha na hamina mavaje, ora magolicha na raimi, ora magolicha na hamina mavaje, biar maravami nori na matami piana, biar maravami nori fita chinga miari, biar maravami nori na matami piana, biar maravami nori fita chinga miari, ora magolicha na raimi, ora magolicha na hamina mavaje, ora magolicha na raimi, ora magolicha na hamina mavaje.
Isn't that great? That's you'd hear like a step dancer will dance to that. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
That's it.
There we go.
I do love the
So,
porridge.
ladies,
Yeah,
let's sample the ginger
Yes.
snaps.
Oh,
Oh, look at my cute wee mug.
Cape
A wee
Breton
thistle.
with the Scottish thistle on it. That is the flower of Scotland.
It is indeed.
The Scottish
Scotland.
Oh my
We
gosh.
won't get into that
No.
right now.
Some people get really tired of that song from Scotland, I
Yeah,
hear.
well,
you know?
I mean, it gets sung out of tune at a lot of rugby matches and things.
Ah, is that it?
It's just very rousing, but does get a little tedious maybe
Yes.
after a while.
I found anytime that I heard it sung, it was with great pride.
Oh yes, yeah,
With
absolutely.
great
Yeah.
pride.
I
most
personally
definitely.
feel that the Freedom Come All Ye should be the Scottish anthem rather than O Flower of Scotland.
Do you know that song?
I know a little piece is not enough to do it live on on Facebook, but it is a great song in proper Scots and with good themes about
Good.
international generosity to visitors and kind of bringing down systems of oppression. So
Ah,
I'm well behind that.
yes, there you go. They are really nice and snappy, and they are dunkers. Very quickly put it in before it drops into the cup.
Wow, what a good snap! I feel like Paul Hollywood on the Great British Bake Off. I think you would both get Star Baker this week.
What do you think, Mimi?
That turned out great.
Oh, how
We
blessed
passed
am I?
the test.
We passed the test.
I hope that yours turned out nicely as well. I'm just going to have another little sip of tea, and then I'm just going to chat with you for a minute, and we'll come back to another song after I have that chat. 1 second.
Here's a good word for you in Gaelic, which is blasta. Blasta means tasty. So, hat shaw blasta, but blasta, Gaelic is sometimes referred to as an can and kelvot blasta bean. So blasta, the tasty, bean, musical, kelvot. Well, kelvot is more musical. Bean is like sweet sounding. So the tasty, sweet sounding, beautiful language of Gaelic.
Oh, I love that.
A Gaelic kelvot blasta bean.
I can't remember that, but I like the sound of it.
Blast that ginger. Taste the ginger.
You can taste the ginger. So, would you, if anybody wanted to, they could add as much ginger as they wanted, right?
Oh yeah, what did we put?
We put in a heaping teaspoon.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what the recipe calls for. But if you really like your ginger, you could probably add 2 teaspoons, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so what I did is I put all the rest of the dough into a freezer bag, and I just tightened it up, and I put it in my fridge. And whenever we want a fresh cookie, I'll just take some dough out of the bag. Now I'm keeping it in my fridge. I'm not putting mine in the freezer because I will fill my cookie jar maybe. And but anyway, I want to talk to you about a few things, and I'll come back to these lovely ladies momentarily. I'll go put you askew here. Do you know what happened? I broke my tripod this week, so I'm on the hunt for a better one. It's sticking together for today. Sock knitting machines are popular in the U.S. There are classes and workshops in various places, and I have several friends, and then I can't see any more. But yeah, that is great. Okay. I just, that's such a wonderful image, and I know that I shared it with some of you, but there are others perhaps that didn't hear me, but Mamie's aunt, just a second, there. Mamie's aunt, and I call her my grandaunt, Sarah Ann, she raised my brother. But she was telling me a story that I never ever forgot. And when I used to go various places, California or wherever I went to teach the dancing, I would tell this story because to me it just was such a good image. But Sarah Ann, she died, how old was she when she died? 95? I think she was 95, yeah. And Mama was 93. They had a good long life. Oh, somebody put an angry face there. I hope that was by mistake. But anyway, Sarah Ann would speak of Mama jigging the tunes that we just spoke of, and how when she was on this knitting machine, she would the clicking sound of the stainless steel and needles going around made her such a beautiful rhythm, and she would jig these tunes, and some people said that she knew the tunes even better than some fiddlers, that she just knew so many good tunes. And of course she would be grandmother to Natalie McMaster, and her it was just, it's a beautiful thing that I grew up with, that I enjoyed. Mama would just hold the back of the chair and do a couple of steps, and then she'd jig the tunes, and I would step dance, and it was just great. But I'd always tell this story that her sister Sarah Ann shared with us. And she said, I'll never forget sitting at the kitchen table in their home in Mabu, just southwest Mabu, and she said Maggie Ann, that was Mama's name. She was Margaret Ann, but they called her Maggie Ann, would be, turning the handle and jigging the tunes, and oblivious to everything around her. That's what Sarah Ann said. And that their father, he was known as Donald Cameron, but they called him Dalmore, which was Big Donald, right? Anyway, they lived on a farm, and of course he came in very, very tired. And the image that Sarah Ann painted for me was that he had overalls on, and there was no indoor plumbing, that he would have gone out to an outdoor toilet, and he had come in just tired from the day's work and whatever, and he had these bib overalls on, and she described it as one strap was still connected and the other strap was just hanging down, and probably a plaid shirt, flannel shirt, that's what I imagine anyway, and these overalls, and his hard work boots, and how he entered the house in like a porch area where he would just kind of merge into the kitchen, and Maggie Ann was in there jigging the tunes, and Sarah Ann said she remembers looking at her father, and her father just closed his eyes and listening to the tunes, and she said he just came back on her. He came back on her, and what that means is he just stood there and he just step danced. As tired as he was, he just step danced, listening to the joy that the music brought him. And he was a very noted step dancer himself, from what people tell me and what's written, and that he for many years would step dance. And it's just, that's such a beautiful image to me to share that, and how it has been passed on down through the generations. And it's just, I'm proud of that. So a few things that I want to share with you. Number one, on March the 21st, we, as you know, we'll be celebrating 1 year together on every Sunday. And I think we might have only missed one Sunday when there was no power there. But for the most part, we were together all these Sundays. So we're really good, fast friends, aren't we? We've been together for that long, and I just love it that you're coming for a visit with me every Sunday and sharing a cup of tea and whatever goodies we've created on that particular day. And we will thankfully, the way it's looking now is that we'll have some or if not all of my Nova Scotia children here on that day. And there's been things, protocols lifted in the Halifax area that now they would be allowed to come home, where it didn't look very good about a week ago that they couldn't. So we're say a prayer and keep your fingers crossed that can happen, because I really want them here. And for the 3 that are out in Alberta, I wish that you could be with us, but I know you can't, and you'll be here online anyway. Gordy and Margie and Tammy wouldn't have been doing it without all of you. So it's going to be a very special day, and I'm hoping that just as many as can will come and celebrate that day with us. We'll be making a layered chocolate delight dessert on that day that everybody can dive in. I had to make something that would feed the masses, and that particular recipe we'll be doing it on that day. And there have things that have emerged from our friendships and our conversations, and just little nuggets of wisdom that people have shared in their comments, or shared on the show as musical guests, or comments that just resonate within your soul. Like, for example, not Jason Price, but Jimmy Inch. I know what he said one day when they were on was that gratitude is like a prayer. And, well, I've been praying a lot then, because gratitude, I have a lot of gratitude for all of you. But I remember wishing this one man during one of the shows back in, I guess it was November or December. Ivor Gillis is his name. He lives in Cox Heath near Sydney, and he turned 100 back in November, December. I don't know, but Ivor's grandson goes with our daughter Margie. And they were planning this big celebration for his 100th birthday, but it just got canceled because of what happened. But he is just a force to be reckoned with. As a man of that age, he is still so with it, and has so much wisdom to share with us. And Margie always thinking about what special thing can she do for Christmas. Well, for her boyfriend Jeff, she thought, he's not going to get home to be and celebrate with his grandfather who's turning 100. So she got Jeff's mom, Bev, to go visit with her dad and ask him to share some words of wisdom that he'd like to Jeff to live your life by, kind of thing. And so just expecting something short and sweet, whatever. And instead, Ivor really took this to heart and put together 4 things that were important life lessons, and just almost made me cry. Well, it doesn't take much to make me cry, but I'll tell you, when I read what he wrote to be shared with his grandson, and I have permission to share this, I had to share it with you, because what it does is it makes you think about what kind of a person you are and how you live your life, and like, what do you want you to leave with your children? What life lesson would you like to share with them, or have them remember you by? And it's something really to think about. But I want to share with you the 4 things that Ivor shared and Margie put into this beautiful thing and framed it for Jeff. But here are the 4 things that he touched on. Humble, traits that you should have. Be humble, be cheerful, be caring, and be respectful. But he didn't just say those 4 things. He elaborated on each one. I'm going to share that with you now. Humble. Never boasting about ourselves. Sharing your knowledge with others who might need a helping hand. Of all the praises that can be bestowed on a person, the simple, he was a humble person, rates very high. Isn't that beautiful and just so true? Being cheerful. Being cheerful not only affects our outlook on life, but the effect it has on others. Be caring. Being thoughtful of others takes very little time and is very rewarding. If a friend or fellow worker is having some doubts on their ability to solve a problem, it is quite amazing what a kind word of praise or compassion can do to boost their morale. My God, isn't that something? Respect. A badly needed virtue in today's world. Respect. Time is well spent if we listen to the opinion of another on a matter. Never embarrass a person in public, even though we think their opinion on the matter will not solve the problem. You will be respected for it. Isn't that 4 gems that he has left with everyone in his family and now with all of you and us? And I've never met Ivor Gillis, but I already love him because he must be just, I just think of the life that he's lived to put that down on paper and to, it's words to live by, most definitely. I just had to share that with you because I'm just so moved by that man and how he's just so still very active and golfs and he's a great person. So anyway, I want you to think about that. It'd be nice to share our thoughts on life going forward. I might even ask Mamie and Màiri too what they would like, even if your life is only have a short life like Màiri. She's only lived a few years, but I know she's got a lot of good things stored up there in her head. But I love the idea of respect, and sometimes that is sadly something that isn't there with some of us. We're not respectful, and respect for our elders, it's just it's a very necessary thing. So anyway, it's just so nice that this show has come together and lasted this long, and we've shared a lot of lessons together, and thank you for all this togetherness. I love it. And so happy, I did wish Ivor Gillis a happy 100th birthday back then, but I just want to thank him for his wisdom. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. I want to also tell you of what we're doing next Sunday. So next Sunday, I think it's the 14th. It is the 14th. And it's kind of close to St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to just take a little detour from what I would normally bake with you. So far, we've been making cookies and sweets and bread and desserts, all of those lovely calories. So we're going to do something Irish next week. A lovely friend that I worked with out west, he was right from Ireland, and his name is Chaz Canning. And oh my God, he's just a character, and just everything seems more comical when he uses his accent, and he'd pour it on at work, and oh my God, he was just so funny. But anyway, he sent me a recipe for Irish soda bread. Never made it before. I'm going to make it this week, and we're going to be making it for the first time together. I'll try it out this week, but it sounds like a basic biscuit. This one does not have sugar in it, has no egg in it. This is the real deal that he sent to me, and I can't stray from that. And I'm going to be frying it on top of the stove in a cast iron skillet. I actually bought my first cast iron frying pan just because of this show next Sunday. And besides the Irish soda bread, what does it go good with? It goes really good with Irish potato soup. We're going to make that together. It takes about 25 minutes to simmer on the stove, and while it's simmering on the stove, we're going to be making the Irish soda bread. So, for the soup, you're going to need some chicken broth, you're going to need some potatoes, you're going to need some onions, and you're going to need some milk and butter, I think. But I'll send you the ingredient list. For the Irish soda bread, whatever, it's just flour and buttermilk and baking soda. It's soda bread, so baking soda and salt. There's no sugar or whatever. But I'll send you all the ingredients. But we're just going to sit and have a bowl of soup and some Irish soda bread. So hope that it'll come out nicely. And for our talent next weekend, we're going to have, it's going to be Scottish entertainment, but I'm sure we'll find a few Irish tunes in there. We're going to have a dancer or two. We're going to have Kenneth Mackenzie and his lovely wife, Jenny. She's a lovely Highland dancer, but next Sunday she's going to be step dancing. And Kenneth is a fiddle player and a piper. So hopefully we'll have a little bit of both from Kenneth. And he's a fluent Gaelic speaker as well. And I think Jenny is just coming right along there. And they have 3 beautiful children, a set of twins and another little Bella. I think it's Archie. And anyway, so that's going to be next Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. And I hope you will enjoy that too. I think that's all I have to share with you today. And I just want to thank you very much, as always, for sticking with me. And I'm looking at the numbers now. It was over 600 people who were watching along with us. Isn't that wonderful? So thank you for watching. And you know this from the bottom of your hearts, because you know that you matter to me. I think of you all week long, and I check in and make sure that I'm getting back to everybody, and sometimes I'm not great at that, but I try to, but it does get busy. But thank you for sticking with me, and we're doing this together during these times, and who knows how long we'll continue to do this. I'm prepared to keep on going as long as you want to be here with me. And maybe one day we'll meet in person, and wouldn't that be great? And I want you to know that I love you, and I want you to love everyone. And just like Ivor said, to care about people, to respect people, to be humble, that's and to be cheerful. And the blues will just disappear. So right now, we're going to close out the show with another beautiful Gaelic song from Màiri Britton. And I want to thank her very much for coming down from Antigonish and sharing her beautiful voice with us and her beautiful face. Isn't she a beautiful girl? She's just so lovely. And she's also a very nice step dancer. And the other person that I want to thank sincerely is my sister Mamie, whom I love from the bottom of my heart. There's no more gentler soul on this earth, I don't think, than Mamie MacDougall. And I'm so happy that she came on the show, even though she was reluctant at first. And then she was, I heard her saying to Minnie, how can I say no to Mary Janet? So I'm so glad that she decided to come because I love her company, and I'm so glad she's here with me today. So thank you, Mamie, and thank you, Màiri. And I'll come back and say a little bye-bye as we're finishing up here. So here we go.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a funny one for you now. That Mamie is going to sing one verse from Hammy Teen, which is probably the best hangover song that was ever written.
You're kidding!
Hammy Teen, Spammy Britton. So Alan the Ridge.
Alan the Ridge.
And Jaffa Banish.
Vanish.
Banish. Chayaka Banish. He went to a wedding and maybe, you know, just really had a good time. And the next day he was by Nahinach Nachroid along stretched out on the couch, feeling kind of awful, and the restorative tea was brought as an elixir. And he says in a verse, well, give it the fachlin. Hook my ven tea gaan.
Hem my ven tea gaan. Hem me doel a G-shak at Amiga House.
Just like my wife's coming to bring me tea. I expect to drink 2 of them, 2 cups of tea.
But I'm gonna bring it up. But I'm still gonna drink it. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Anyway, so here's a wee piece of that, and then maybe I'll do a wee go into a milling song to finish off.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Okay.
Hammy Duke Shins, Mamie Britton, like Dorshas Machin, and you me a guy. Hammy Duke Shins, Mamie Britton. Hammy Sean and me knows my vengeance, Tigo, Sammy to the G-shak at Amiga How. Hammy Duke Shins, Mamie Britton.
Just like you, tell me your thought. Hammy
Duke Shins, Mamie Britton.
Awesome, Mamie.
We just thought of that on the way down.
That's awesome.
Got you back. Smash in.
So you're going to sing a little ditty to end it all?
Sure. Let's do some jigs this time. We'll do some more pushed.
Okay.
So I'll do a couple of jigs. Fach shef maar in huis, fach shef maar in hemisch, fach shef maar in huis, daar wie het de midden die hele, fach shef maar in huis, daar shef maar in hemisch, fach shef maar in huis, daar wie het de midden die hele krijg. Jaar skippelt de kruin, skippelt de glees de kruin, jaar skippelt de wie het de midden die hele kruin, jaar skippelt de kruin, skippelt de glees de kruin. Jaar skippelt de wie het de midden die hele, fach shef maar in huis, daar shef maar in hemisch, fach shef maar in huis, daar wie het de midden die hele, fach shef maar in huis, daar shef maar in hemisch, fach shef maar in huis, daar wie het de midden die hele kruin. Jaar skippelt de kruin, skippelt de glees de kruin, jaar skippelt de wie het de midden die hele kruin, jaar skippelt de kruin, skippelt de glees de kruin. Jaar skippelt de wie het de midden die hele, verder neem woorden, die woorden, verder neem woorden, smoren,
I like that.
neem woorden, midden die woorden, Tony, midden die Màiri. Verder neem
Can't end
woorden,
it yet.
midden die woorden, verder neem woorden, smoren, midden die, verder neem woorden, midden die woorden, Tony, midden die Màiri. Verder neem wieken, midden kan drinken, verder neem wieken, drinken, midden die, verder neem wieken, midden kan drinken, Connie, midden die Màiri. Verder neem wieken, midden kan drinken, verder neem wieken, drinken, midden die, verder neem woorden, midden die moord, Connie, midden die Màiri. Verder neem woorden, midden die moorden, verder neem woorden, smoren, midden die, neem woorden.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Love you. Bye-bye.